Some of you in the room might know that I've led a checkered career, sexologist by day for a while, sex worker by night, or actually it was the other way around many times. But one of the things that was extraordinary to me about doing sex work, my mother told me that men only wanted one thing. What did she know? Men wanted so many different things, as it turned out. And because I was already studying sexology, that was extraordinary. Getting to interface with people in their fantasies and the sexuality that had grown up diversely among them, that was an extraordinary privilege. Nothing in the language of Sesta acknowledges that might be somebody's response, but nobody trafficked me, or if they did, I trafficked myself. Except, well, depending on how you look at trafficking, I did have a madam. And one day the madam called me up, this is before we got text messages about such things, and said, I've got some work for you, can you come over to my place? She had a little spare room in her place where the work was done. And she usually told me what color of lingerie to wear, because some people have preferences, favorite color and all that. And she said, today, I want you to dress young. And I said, how young? She said, real young. So I did, in fact, have some Mary Janes. I did have some white cotton underwear, left over from a more innocent time of my life. And I dressed young, thinking there's got to be a fetishist on the other side of this encounter. What will I experience? And there was indeed a fetishist on the other side of the encounter, or possibly a pedophile. I'm not really sure, except that after we had had our scene, there was time when he came out of his character, expected that I would come out of my character, because these scenes are theatrical in nature. BDSM scenes are, sex play scenes often are. If you're playing a role, you're playing a role. Yeah. And what he said to me was, you know, a long time ago, I actually used to do stuff with girls, teenagers and stuff, and I didn't think it was harmful. I loved them. I didn't want to hurt them. But then I read an article, I think he said it was in Psychology Today. Thank you, Psychology Today, for covering everything over the years. He said, I read an article about the effects that it might have on people as they grew up and their sexuality and everything. And that's not what I wanted. I didn't understand that part. And I resolved that I would stop. And so now I call women like you to help me make this happen in a fantasy context. He didn't say the words, I think this helps me not reoffend, but I got that loud and clear from him. I hope that's real for him. I hope that's his real story in terms of the notion that he could actually take into fantasy life what he understands he should never do again in real skin-to-skin life. And I just want to say in closing my story that that's exactly the way sexologists who have been brave enough to go to this particular zone of research talk about and assume fantasy can be used. So when Jeremy talked to me about this possibility that research could happen around child sexual abuse and prevention modalities, I thought of my professor Loretta Horoyan, may she rest in power, who was the first human being I heard talk about people as though they were human beings who could be affected by information. People like this guy. And I hope that that's right. I guess we'll find out. And it's a great honor for me to be able to host this gathering, which I think is so important, and to be able to tell you that I've had one encounter with someone who I really believe was trying to take in information and change their behavior accordingly. May there be many, many more people like that that are touched by the work that you all do.